Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. All right, Kat, welcome to Pivot Parenting.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you here. Let's just dive right in for our listeners. Kat has a younger teenage daughter. Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yes. Well, this is a really good example and something that just occurred this morning. So it gets around the idea of the co-parenting with my husband and consequences and the lack of follow through or the lack of consequences, depending on the parent that you're talking about. So, what happened this morning is she woke up, something happened with her alarm, right? So she woke up late,
Okay.
but still had an hour to get ready for school. She prefers to shower in the mornings, which is a new thing. And knowing that she only had an hour because she told me, I woke up late, I only have an hour, you would think that would then propel the person to move quicker and get their stuff done and get out the door when they need to get out the door to get the bus. However, that is not what occurred. What occurred was absolute silence till 10 minutes before the bus. And I said, you have 10 minutes to get out the door. And there was absolute silence. And so I said again, we're not taking you to school today. You need to be ready. And again, silence. So I just left it because there's a tendency for some fairly emotional stuff to happen in the morning. And I was just trying to avoid that. And then it's and I'm like working, right? So I'm preoccupied and not giving parenting my 100% attention. And so then 5 minutes past the time she's supposed to leave, I'm realizing she's still in the bathroom. So I'm like, what's going on here? I told you we weren't taking you to the bus, blah, blah. I didn't hear you say that the first time. And I said, how did you know I said it then if you didn't hear me the first time? And the answer was, well, I thought you were talking to Baba or something. So a part of me that suspects that it's just, what do they call that? The listening of what you want to hear. Yeah, a little bit of that. But at this point, I said to her, so are you going to ride your bike or what? And she was like, I need to be taken to school. And I said, first off, I gave you a warning about that. And second off, if you suspect that you're going to need to be taken to school, that is a conversation that needs to be had with the people or person that would be taking you to school. And I talked to, her dad about it while she was getting ready in her slow and fastidious, everything still in her routine, did not get shortened, did not get skipped. And this is kind of a new thing, right? She's 14. So the idea of prioritizing time within the time frame that you have, and the fact that what dad will say, I'll take her to school. And I listened to your podcast. I recently, on top of mine, is the one about consequences. Kids have to have consequences that they won't always be bailed out. So I bring this up, consequences. And, there needs to be something that is given up or something that is given in order for this to, and this needs to be explained to her. And so we kind of go around about what that's going to be. Is it going to be grounding for another 2 days? Because she was already grounded for 3 days. And so I said, well, when you take her, then you need to explain all of this so that she understands. And we agreed that the consequence would be 2 extra hours this week of weeding the invasives out of the garden on top of her regular weeding. So he took her to school. He comes back, doesn't say anything because I always have to be the one to ask about follow ups. And I asked about what the conversation was. And he said, well, I told her she needs to let us know she needs a ride to school. I'm like, that's not, I am managing the other parent or parenting the other parent. And granted, he will admit, self admitting, his parents were, you know, completely lacking in hands on with him at all. So he doesn't have the experience. But even explaining it, and I thought I do a fairly good job of trying to explain something. It still didn't kind of stick.
So everybody's doing it wrong.
Um,
Okay, so where does this leave you, Kay?
well, I mean, this leaves me just concerned about consistency because that is important. Otherwise, your kid doesn't believe you if you say something unless you follow through with it, right? And learning consequences. I also realized that we need to provide some other second backup alarm that is not by the bed, it's not the phone. It's like the horrible alarm clock that actually sits across the room. And that just needs to be set every day for a backup. And then we would be the tertiary backup, but really we want her to learn how to wake up on her own, right? Instead of it being us being mindful of her time.
So where's the
Um,
biggest problem for you in this? Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. So, where's the
um,
biggest problem for you in this?
I think the biggest problem is the prioritizing. Like she had an hour, and technically if she had hurried like she sometimes will when she wants to get out the door to go and hang out with her friends, she can do things extremely quick, right? But in this case not. She
Why is
takes
that
her.
a problem?
It's a problem because if there is transportation or any other situation and she's not managing the time she has to make that work, you know, the next time it's going to be, and she stays home and, or she rides her bike with a 30-pound backpack or something.
So, why is that a problem?
She's never ridden to the school. It's kind of pretty far away. So backpack's a problem. She's got neck and shoulder and back pain. And that's a problem because she plays violin and she's in a lot of pain on a regular basis.
So, why is your number one problem her lack or poor job of prioritizing?
Because then there's a conflict about the solution to not getting to school on the bus in this case.
What's the conflict?
That will always say, I'll take her, and there won't be consequences unless I insist. And both of us were busy this morning, and it's not convenient to take her to school.
Okay. I just bear with me. I'm just whittling down get into the heart of it. So, prioritizing because you guys don't have enough time and there's no consequences with dad.
Yeah. I mean, we're already paying, right, for transportation for the bus to get her to school.
Okay, so why is it a problem if dad takes her without the consequences that you wanted him to share with her?
Well, the learning moment doesn't exist then.
Okay, and what learning did she miss out on?
The learning she missed out on is that she needs to figure out a way to get where she needs to go, no matter if she sleeps through her alarm or not.
Okay, and if she doesn't have that learning, what does that mean for her? What does that mean for you and dad?
Well, I think it would definitely be useful to have some not in the hurry of getting ready for school moment, but conversation about what do you do if you wake up with only an hour? You need to take a shower because you don't take them at night anymore, and you want your hair to look great, et cetera, et cetera. Like, how do you manage getting out the door if you only have a little bit less than an hour?
Okay, and
Well,
why is that a problem if she's not learning that?
I don't know if it's that she's not learning it. She hasn't figured it out yet for herself, which is understandable.
Well, but you
You
said
know.
if she's gonna go hang out with her friends, she can do it real speedy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she
So
does
there we
know.
go. Yeah, so it's about whether or not she's motivated
Yeah.
to do something quick
Okay.
because the priority is there. And so I know she's capable, she's just
Yes.
not applying it in this case.
So we've looped back to priorities. So why are
Hmm.
her priorities your number one problem?
Hmm. Why are her priorities my number one problem? Okay, well, I could say I'm so distracted by my job, my meetings, you know, my plumbing line that's backed up that I just cleared and was trying to learn how to do the equipment this morning. I'm so spread out in so many directions that I am not being proactive parent with her to make sure that all of the bits and pieces get put together and she understands that like a conversation should be
So
had.
you don't
Like,
like your priorities. I love your expression.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I do feel frustration, guilt, um, yeah, frustration and guilt that I can't be on top of it all at all
Yeah.
times.
Okay,
And
but I just want to show you how this idea that we're supposed to be on top of it at all times is not only ruining your self-concept and how you feel
Mhm.
about yourself, but also your daughter. Because if we look at it from just the factual standpoint, she didn't usurp any of your time. Dad was happy to take her, and you didn't have to take her.
But what happens? Well, I mean, what happens when he can't take her though? Because that has happened before.
And if
She
you
just
can't
has,
take her, then she can ride the bike or she stays home or what. You can figure that out. Or, like, again, it is okay, my friend, that today the plumbing line was the number one priority instead of your kid. It's okay. I think we all get that.
right?
Sometimes when push comes to shove, other things take the first spot. And for her, maybe it was hair, like it was an everything shower day and she just had to do everything. And like while we might pull our hair out at that and just be like, just pull up into a ponytail. That's what I do when I can't wash my hair. Maybe not because she has a cute boy in math class that she wants to have clean hair for. Like we don't know. We don't know her priorities. And they might seem really silly to us.
I do understand that her priorities are different. I mean, that is abundantly clear, right?
Yeah.
So I'm future tripping then. My concern is that this moment right now where her dad,
Takes her,
takes her, it's okay,
rescues
I'll
her.
take her. And
Yeah.
if there's ever a problem, it's okay, I'll take her.
Yeah.
And she assumes then, without saying a word, that he's going to take her
Yeah. Why is that a problem?
because I would like for her to be able to use in her life with us and other relationships that you shouldn't make assumptions because you may end up missing the opportunity for the right solution
Yeah.
or multiple solutions.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying. And I think that this is a really common, seemingly logical way that our brains do things, which is like we try to save our kids from future despair, heartache, grief. But what we actually do is just create that despair and heartache and grief for ourselves right now because our brain likes to catastrophize and use all or nothing statements. So, like,
Mm.
my if my daughter doesn't learn it now in this way, she'll never learn it and she'll just be a sponge on everyone in her life, right? We don't know that, but our brain has this crystal ball of awfulness that it will like fortune tell for us the future of if she doesn't figure out her priorities now and if they aren't in alignment with what my brain thinks they should be, then she's screwed.
And there is also a selfish component to this, right? That I
Sure.
want us to be considered rather than her just guessing that we can drop everything at a moment's notice
Children
to
are so egocentric.
achieve what she needs or wants.
Yeah.
Right. Aren't
Okay.
we all just egocentric? I mean, at some level, it's all about us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Yeah. And so when your brain is glomming on to this, if dad doesn't come through with rules and consequences, then she's never going to learn them. And like we like to blow things out of proportion. And I'm not saying it would be delightful if you guys were on the same page. That would make everybody's life so much easier.
Right.
But I promise you, she's going to learn the lessons that she needs to learn, just not in the way that you think she should learn them.
So is it out of my league to make the suggestion of the second alarm, or should it all be, hey, this seems like a thing, and is there any solutions you can come up with that will, I mean, is that, am I going too far because she's 14?
No, not necessarily. It's less about the action and more about the reason why. And like the thoughts and emotions fueling the action.
Mhm.
So having a second alarm or having a conversation like, "Hey, what else can we do?" Either one of those things could happen from like fear, worry, a need to control the situation
Mhm.
in order to feel like everything's going to be okay and she'll be a functional human and she'll learn how to get up. Or it can just be like, hey, I'm a parent and this is what parents teach. She may or may not choose to accept the lesson, but getting up on time for life is kind of a socially normal thing unless she just is going to, become independently wealthy in some way or another
Mhm.
or get a job where she can work any hour that she wants. Like these things do exist. Not everybody gets up at 7 a.m.
Mhm.
Like people can choose careers or create wealth in ways that does not require them to get up at the crack of dawn.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Well, is it selfish of us to think that, she's 14 and it's time to learn how to wake up on your own alarm? I mean, to be responsible for that, like she has a phone she can set. Oh, here's the other problem. I think she lays in bed looking at her phone before she gets up, regardless of how
Oh, yeah.
late or how early she is.
We all do
So,
that.
so I mean,
I speak for myself when I say all of us do that.
I struggle with like, do we just take the phone and she has to resort to the alarm clock in her room? I mean, we'll
Yeah.
be hated
You
forever.
have so many fantastic, well, of course she would hate that. Who doesn't want a little dopamine hit in the
Right.
morning? Yeah, that's okay. She's not supposed to be happy with all the rules. Again, it's going back to what you and your husband feel like you can both agree to. And then, especially for you, why? Is it because I'm fearful and want to control the situation so that I can rest easier? That's
Uh-huh.
not the best energy to create rules and consequences and like
Yeah.
have stuff with.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that has to be completely gone, but it can't be the main driver. So if you're calm, you're happy with her, like responding however she's going to and complying as little as she chooses, and you want to have specific rules and consequences because you feel good about them and you feel like that's what a good parent should do, then that's what you should do.
And then what about if we don't have 100% consistency with something like on the calendar in the family 9:30 p.m. it says take Lorna's phone. And that's supposed to be a reminder for everyone, her, me, and him.
Okay.
Bang, it's 9:30, take the phone. Guess how many times we took her phone?
Okay. If you can't follow through like more than half the time, I
Mm-hmm.
would
Okay.
either recommit or decide that maybe it's not something worth keeping. And that's up to you.
Uh-huh.
But I also want you to know that humans aren't we're not software. It's not like you can reprogram us and then it's like from now on this is our default setting because we were reprogrammed like we got the software update. No. It is work to create new habits and new ways of doing things and so we can be gentle with ourselves. If we're doing like the benchmark is just more than half the time. Like if we can get over 50 that 50-50 hump and tip the scales, that's a win. And to
Okay.
me, an A plus is actually a B minus. So like if you can do it 80% of the time, A
Uh-huh.
plus. If you can get an 80, holy cow, you are winning. So don't beat yourself up over like, you know, the one day this week that husband took her to school. That's okay. It really is okay. We're not robots.
Except she missed Monday
Okay,
and I refused to take her to school.
sure.
And she was like, I just don't want to go. And I'm like, fine. Well, what am I supposed to call in? You're not sick. Is it going to be an unexcused absence? I can't go to school today. And I'm like, fine, mental health, fine, mental health day. The
Yeah,
end of the school year. I don't know.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And guess
It's
what? Her
it's
life
new
is not
territory because this
ruined.
is
Her
definitely
future
not.
is not ruined because she took a mental health day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With a 3.91, I don't think I really need to worry about it too much.
No.
3.91 GPA, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm picking it up.
Okay.
So when we look at your overarching theme of like they're doing it wrong and therefore the future is doomed. Can you see how you sabotage the present?
Yes. But what if it's really more about my selfish desire to not be taken for granted, or I just want her to communicate? Like, that's the part that bugs me the absolute most because her dad's not a great communicator either. And I'm probably the over communicator.
Yeah. So this is a
Oh,
super fun thing that we all do to each other too. It's like we have these little rule books that we expect
oh.
people to follow
Mm-hmm.
so that we can feel better.
Mm.
And we chase people around and we hit them with our rule book and say, why can't you just do this? But it's the long, painful, unsuccessful route of feeling better. It's so much easier. And everybody will agree with you. That would make sense and be so convenient if they didn't take you for granted and they just did their crap so you could do yours.
Hmm.
That would be
That's not
lovely.
reality. Yeah.
Well, it's not your current reality because they're not doing it. They're not playing by your rule book. And so we have to look at the rule book. But you being upset about it and feeling not taken, like feeling taken for granted, that's your side of the street. So we don't do things for our kids or for our husbands so that they'll be grateful or so that they'll recognize that we're really amazing people that they should just love and cherish. I mean, that would be lovely. But we do things, ideally, because that's the type of person we want to be. And if somebody wants to recognize that, that's icing. But that ain't the cake. So you do things for your family just out of love for them, not expecting anything in return. And if you are expecting something in return, don't do the thing because you'll resent them for not being grateful enough. Because everybody sucks at showing gratitude and love and all the things in the way that we want it. I
So in that
promise.
vein,
Yeah.
it does it does a kid interpret a relationship if we say, "Hey, you have some jobs. They're not crazy. They're not uber crazy jobs, and we need the help running the household.
Yeah.
If you want us to take time out of our lives to transport you and your friend or whatever to this and that and the other, that's taking our time. Is it not fair to say you need to, these jobs need to be done on the day that you've chosen to do them so that you don't get overwhelmed with a bunch on one day? And what are you going to do to help out around the house since I'm taking time away, driving you to XYZ and your friends to XYZ? I would like help with prepping the vegetables for dinner.
Yeah. Transactional relationships are a slippery slope that go nowhere good.
Okay.
And we can dig into that. But just the basis of it is basically how would you feel like if somebody who is in charge of your life, right? Like as a minor,
Mm-hmm.
wanted you to earn everything. Like it typically doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and I didn't mean like in every instance, but like if there's an option to ride a bike and but she hems and haws, I'm gonna cough my asthma. It's too hot.
Sure.
And it's like, well, you have the option of riding a bike.
Okay, you can say, listen, I need to get all these things done by 5 o'clock. If you want to help me
Mm-hmm.
pound some of them out, then I will have time to drive you, which would be
Mm.
great. But I need to get this done because I've got this deadline or whatever. And so this is like where I'm at. And if you want to jump in and help me, that would be tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would have the 20 minutes to drive you
Mm-hmm.
wherever. But if you don't want to help me, that's totally cool. But then, like, again, it's the energy behind it.
Yeah, I get
It's
that.
it's not like tit for tat, like do this and then I'll pay you with the reward of helping you out. But just
Right.
like a family helps each other and it's good for
Right.
kids to feel like their contribution makes a difference in the home. Studies are pretty conclusive that when kids feel like they have an impact in the well-being of the household,
Mm-hmm.
that they have higher confidence, they gain more resilience, like they're more committed to their family. So that's a beautiful, good thing in healthy doses, in ways that they know that like your presence in their life isn't conditional upon their participation. Like that your presence and you're wanting to help and love and do all those things is just there.
Hmm.
and we really need your help over here. They're independent of one another.
Yeah. And what happens when there is often no planning, only instantaneous? I've just made plans to do this with a friend. I want to go such and such. And like, we're busy doing things.
That's
We need,
100% age appropriate and normal
okay.
for her to do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Completely normal. And so you just have to adjust to how you like, yeah, of course, when I can, I want to drop everything and help you because I love you so much. You're my cute little baby girl. But like, I have a meeting in 15 minutes. So you can wait after my meeting or you can get a ride or figure that out.
Hmm.
And those are your options. And like, sure, sometimes she'll be like, hey, this weekend we all want to go to this school dance. Can I get a ride? That's lovely when you know in advance, but that is not normal, just so you know.
Okay. And that's probably like going to stay that way till they leave the house.
Yeah, because they don't get it. Like, you don't know till you know, and they just are flying by the seat of their pants. I mean, I remember just waking up every day and just being like, I don't know what I'm going to do today.
Uh-huh.
Like, childhood is a beautiful thing. So she can do that. That's totally cool. And you can choose when you can show up and help out and when
Yeah.
she needs to figure stuff out, because that's also a really great life skill
Yeah.
of learning like how to get where you want to be and do the things that you want to do all on your own. That's an important piece of adulthood that she can figure out. It's not a problem.
Makes sense.
How are we feeling about everything?
If only I could have a chipper mood at every single solitary ask.
Why would you need a chipper mood?
Well, of course, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I think I've been working really hard to be more calm than I used to be.
Yeah.
Meds has helped with that tremendously. Your
Amazing.
coaching has helped with that tremendously. And so I'm a little self-critical, like, oh, I wish you had given me like 2 hours notice. I just got into the garden. This is my day. This is what I'm doing. And so, I'm happy to do it when it works, but give me some warning, please, so I can try and we can all make it work, or we need to talk to Baba too.
Yeah. So that's your rule book coming up to haunt you and
Yeah.
cause you unnecessary pain. Like, yeah, that would be nice. And everybody that you ask, they would agree. Yeah, that would be really nice. 14-year-olds don't do that. They just don't do that. So you can just kiss that pipe dream goodbye. It's not going to
Goodbye.
happen. And
Planning ahead.
you don't have to be chipper about it if you don't want. But you can be loving and understanding.
Yeah.
She's behaving age appropriate. And
Hmm.
is this a time where I can meet her ask, or is it a time where she gets to figure it out different than me?
Hmm. Hmm. Fair.
All right. Any other thoughts, questions?
I feel like we wrapped that one up in a big, beautiful bow.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Heather is the one, an expert